Hello, a very good morning to all. Myself, Khushbu Bhalodia, Assistant Professor, Chemical Engineering Department, LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. My subject is Green Technology and Sustainable Development. In a previous lecture of Green Technology and Sustainable Development, we have seen the concept of green solvent, right? What are the parameters that should be there to become a solvent as a green solvent, and then we have seen the types of green solvent. Out of these types of green solvent, say for example, what are the types of green solvent? Ionic liquid, supercritical carbon dioxide, water, biosolvents, right? Those are the known as the green solvents. Out of this, today we will see the chemical reaction in the presence of water, and we will see the supercritical fluid in this supercritical, particularly carbon dioxide, right? So now first we will see the reaction with water as a solvent. So these all are the reaction which is happening in which water is used as a solvent. So first one is NaCl with H2O will give us NaOH plus HCl. Another one is in which diethyl ester reacting with water to give ethyl alcohol and acetic acid. Third example is acetic acid with water will produce a formic acid, and along with this CH3OH, right? Most helpful example or advantageous example of water as a solvent is Diels-Alder reaction. In conventional system, right, this reaction was very difficult, but this reaction in water will lead towards the formation of high yield, right? So this is the water as a solvent. Now another application that is water as a solvent is also in a phase transfer catalysis process, in which traditional hydroformylation chemistry, in which a separation of catalyst from a medium chain aldehyde is very difficult. That means separation of catalyst is very difficult in the formation of hydroformylation, right? But in this greener approach, we can use water in a biphasic system in which it acts as a phase transfer catalyst. So what is actually then, in which alkanes in a organic solvents which leads formation of aldehyde, right? Now this catalyst which is a soluble, right, or I can say water soluble catalyst was there. So water here can act as a biphase, right? So here we can use a phase transfer catalyst to enhance the recoverability of our solvent. Another application water as a solvent is in a high temperature water. It is not there only water we can use as a reaction medium. Along with this, sometimes we can use water at very high temperature, and water at a very high temperature, what are the advantage of this is, at a high temperature, water will become less dense and less polar. See, at a high temperature, density of water will become less, and it becomes less polar. So therefore, we can use this high temperature water like as an organic solvent for the reduction of hydrogen bonding. At 300 degrees Celsius, water behaves similar to the acetone. So high temperature water is also used sometimes in the synthesis process. At a high temperature water, it becomes more ionic in nature. Therefore, that means more acidic and more basic in nature. As high temperature, water will become more ionic in nature. That means there is a more acidic in nature and more basic in nature, which increase the H2O plus ion and OH minus ion. Next we will see supercritical fluid as a green solvent. Now what is supercritical fluid? Supercritical fluid, that means any substance or fluid which becomes at a supercritical condition above its critical point temperature and pressure. You can see in this diagram where pressure versus temperature plot is there, in which there is a gas phase, liquid phase and solid phase, and there is a triple point and critical point is also there. Now beyond the critical point at a certain temperature and pressure, or above the critical point temperature and pressure, a supercritical fluid region will appear, in which a supercritical fluid there is a coexistence of gas and liquid phase. That means there is no distinct difference between gas phase and liquid phase at super supercritical condition. That means at a supercritical stage, it will move like a gas and dissolve the thing like a solid. In another figure, you can see that in a subcritical portion, there is a separate image we can see, or I can say layer, transition layer, we can say phase boundary is appear in a subcritical part. But as we move towards this critical zone, or I can say supercritical zone, so there is a phase boundary disappearing take place. That means in a middle point or above the subcritical point, right, or below the supercritical point, there is also a existing of slight boundaries there, but at the supercritical region there is no distinct between liquid and gas. So increasing the pressure, phase boundary is disappearing. So this is known as a supercritical fluid. Right, this is also a phase diagram of supercritical fluid. Right, there in this you can see that a pressure versus temperature curve at which critical temperature Tc and critical pressure Pc, beyond that a supercritical fluid region will appear. So above Tc and Pc, supercritical fluid having a densities of liquid but viscosity of gas. That means you can see that having a properties of both. At a supercritical condition or supercritical fluid having a properties of liquid and gas both. So this is very advantageous for our chemical synthesis. Here I am giving two examples of supercritical fluid. One is supercritical water and another one is a supercritical carbon dioxide. So supercritical water is at around critical temperature is 374.2 Celsius and pressure is 220 bar, and same way for the carbon dioxide, critical temperature is 31 degrees Celsius and pressure is 73.8 bar. So you can see that critical temperature is often quite low but the critical pressure is very high. Right, why we are using these two fluid as a supercritical fluid, water and carbon dioxide in a supercritical phase? Why? Because these two compounds are highly renewable and non-flammable in nature, as well as widely available. Water and carbon dioxide, that is easily available, and moreover that the critical temperature and pressure are also very helpful to us. So that's why renewable and non-flammable H2O and CO2, that is water and carbon dioxide, we are using as a supercritical fluid. Now what are the advantageous properties of supercritical carbon dioxide? Why we are using supercritical carbon dioxide in our process? First one is its compressibility. The main difference between conventional solvent and supercritical fluid as a solvent is its compressibility. So supercritical fluid or particularly supercritical carbon dioxide is having a high compressibility in nature. That means a large change in a solvent properties can be achieved by slight change in pressure, or I can say slight change in the other properties, we can achieve a very good properties, right? That means ability to tune the solvent in favor of our particular reaction by just optimizing the temperature and pressure. See, by just changing the temperature and pressure, you can change its physical properties of supercritical fluid. That means you can simply alter or tune the density, viscosities, right, and solvent properties of your fluid so that you can easily achieve your chemical reaction, right. This is known as a high compressibility or high tunability of the component in nature. Supercritical fluid phase has a unique combination of properties of both gas and liquid also. So we can use any properties for the synthesis of our reaction. Another properties of supercritical fluid which is advantageous to us is high diffusion rate, which offers a potential for increased reaction rate. Now see, a diffusion rate is high, and because of that of high diffusion rate we can achieve a higher reaction rate. In a conventional solvent, just to change the physical properties we need to change a huge amount of pressure. But in case of supercritical fluid, just slight change in the parameter of temperature and pressure there is a huge change in the properties of, or I can say physical properties of our solvent. Another one is inert to oxidation and resistance to reduction reaction. So it is known as an excellent medium for the oxidation and reduction chemical reaction. Along with this, its low surface tension and viscosity leads towards the great penetration into a porous solid, right? Penetration of solvent is also one of the key parameter to achieve a higher reaction rate in our solid phase, right? So it's having a low surface tension, and along with this, its viscosity is such that it can penetrate deeper into our porous solid, right? Now we'll see the applications of supercritical carbon dioxide. One application is in a solubility where the concentration of hydrogen in supercritical mixture of hydrogen and carbon dioxide is very high. So here we can use the carbon dioxide to dissolve or to dissolve our hydrogen. Another one is in a extraction. In a extraction process, decaffeination of our coffee beans, vitamin E oil separation, fatty acid extraction or ginger oil extraction, also we are using the supercritical carbon dioxide. In a nicotine extraction, natural insecticide and pesticide extraction, also we are using the supercritical carbon dioxide. One more application is in extraction of hops by using in a brewing industry by using the supercritical carbon dioxide. Along with this, in a food industry also, extraction of species, aroma, flavor, right, we are using the supercritical carbon dioxide. Now supercritical carbon dioxide in a chemical synthesis, supercritical carbon dioxide can be used as a reaction medium also. These all are the list of chemical reaction where carbon dioxide is used in a hydrogenation or hydroformylation, in alkylation reaction, in epoxidation reaction, radial reaction, right, biotransformation reaction. In a polymerization reaction, we are using supercritical carbon dioxide. This is a hydrogenation, right, of our carbon dioxide reaction, which is also a nowadays very advantageous or very helpful in our industry. Now next applications of supercritical carbon dioxide is in a material synthesis. So in which fluoropolymers was prepared by using the supercritical carbon dioxide. Fluoropolymers cannot be prepared by using a conventional hydrocarbon solvent, right? Why? Because conventional hydrocarbon solvents in that CFC were used, and CFC was banned under the Montreal Protocol, right? So now what we can do, instead of this conventional solvent, or I can say CFC, we can replace the CFC with our supercritical carbon dioxide. So that will lead to advantages of easy polymer isolation and easy dyeing, as well as wastage of is minimum. Another application of supercritical carbon dioxide is in a polymer production and processing. So in a polymer industry also, CO2 in a supercritical condensation is used in a polymerization reaction, in a polymer production, polymer blending, as well as the particle production. We are using supercritical carbon dioxide. So this was regarding the green solvents of water and supercritical fluid.